everybody. So today I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Galactic Center. I'm not sure how long this video will be, because it's kind of more posing questions, if you will. I don't really know what the fuck this is actually. Okay, first and foremost, I want to make it clear that I am not a Galactic Center expert. I have lots of astrological knowledge, but the Galactic Center is one area that really is a mystery to me, a very fascinating mystery. So it gives me like a real fucking thought boner. Like, that's the best way I could think of to describe it. Just like from 6 to midnight all the time when I think about this. So, yeah. So, yeah, not an expert, just somebody who gets massive thought boners thinking about this, theorizing about this, and applying it then to astrology. I reserve the right for any of the things that I toss out in this video or in, let me shut this, or in any of the videos to not be correct. Because I really am just fucking with astrology. Okay, so I'm gonna say something. It's kind of a big statement. It feels like a big statement. Okay, and this might deviate just a little bit from astrology. I mean, it doesn't deviate because it plays into astrology, but it also plays into other things. So I feel like I have this feeling, and there are probably other things as well. This might not be the only thing, but I feel like the Galactic Center is somehow a tie between spirituality and science. Personally, this is just me personally, I don't feel like there should be a breakage between the two. I think they were actually intended to function together. And when I say spirituality, I'm not talking fucking religion, and I think religion fucked a lot of this shit up, quite honestly. I really do. I really do, and it kind of pisses me off if I really think about it. But spirituality, real spirituality, not following some fucking dogma, but real spirituality and science, I do feel like should not be at odds and should not be divided. Now that sounds weird because spirituality is something that can't be proven, and science is about proof, right? But I do think that they need to coexist together. And I think that they were intended to coexist together. But I think if they had coexisted together, I think some of the things that are present in the world today, like fucking religion, wouldn't have the power that they have. And there are a lot of religions around the world that have a lot of power. But I feel like real spirituality and science, there should be a blending of these two things. Maybe not universally, but I think that in some way, I think there should be. And I think the Galactic Center is a link to this. I really do. I think it's a link to this blending of science and spirituality. How? And I know that's a big fucking statement to make. It is a big statement. Okay. And I'm not just talking about the GC in astrological terms here. I mean the GC in like astrophysics and in cosmology and the GC in general. I think that's kind of why I get such a thought boner about it and feel like it does play a big deal in astrology, a much bigger deal than what it's been credited for. But I do feel like the actual galactic center is a linkage, but is a link between the two. And is almost a way to, or it feels like it's almost a way to bridge science and spirituality together. And I'm sure there are other ways to do this too, but it does feel that way to me. It just does. So that might explain just a little bit why I'm so hung up on the GC in general and why I find it so interesting. There are a lot of reasons why I find it interesting, but that is one of them, because I do feel like the actual galactic center in space is a link to that, right? To being able to merge those worlds together. Now, how exactly that happens, I'm not sure. But I do feel like there is a tie. And I think we're supposed to find that tie. Like, as somebody who commented, his name's Chris. Christopher. He said it. He said the Galactic Center might. He made the comment that the Galactic Center might be like a like an umbilical cord from where we are to somewhere else, right? I think that's kind of a cool way to look at it, because we don't know what's on the other side of it. Like if you were to theoretically fall into the GC, where do you get spit out? What, like where? Where does this? Where are you? Where do you go? That is such a fucking crazy thing to think about. If you really let yourself like rabbit trail or bunny trail in your mind, where the fuck would you go? Where the fuck does it go? The possibilities are endless. Absolutely endless. I think it's really cool to think about. Do we go, is this a lifeline to the creator? And when I say creator, I mean the actual great architect, not some fucking god in a book. But I mean the actual creator. The actual source of all creation. Do we go back to it? Is that where we go? Maybe. It's a cool thought. Could the Galactic Center be like a lifeline or whatever to other dimensions and other intelligent life somewhere else? I think that's very possible. I've always thought it was such an arrogant view to think that we are it. There are no aliens. There is nothing else out there that could possibly be anything like us. How fucking arrogant of a view is, I mean, really, think about that. It's so fucking arrogant. Humans are arrogant, but it's such a fucking arrogant view. And really, quite frankly, it's kind of stupid if you think about it. I mean, there's so much that we don't know. How could we, people that are like, there are no aliens. There are no ETs. There's no life anywhere else. You a fucking arrogant fuck. I mean, really, that's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Do I think that it could be a connection to other beings somewhere else. Could be. I wouldn't rule it out. I would think that would be really cool if it were. The possibilities are just absolutely endless for where this thing goes. And that's what makes it so fascinating in a natal chart. You know, like, what happens to things that touch it? Conjunct it. What happens to things that oppose it? What happens, you know? It's just all very interesting. Even just by house, right? Even just where it falls in the chart by house. Even without any conjunctions or oppositions or trines or Jupiter retrograde or retrograde heavy, whatever, you know. I have to ask, I feel like, and I've mentioned this before, that, you know, planets conjunct the GC, they might function like an antenna of sorts. I almost feel like that could also be the same just by house. Like, depending on where the GC falls in your chart, it's almost like there's an antenna that, I know I mentioned, like in the other videos, I mentioned like a weird charge, right, to the house that the GC falls in, but maybe there's also like a weird antenna that picks things up in that area of life, right, or from that area of life, or what have you. That also seems possible. Maybe you weirdly draw things to you in those areas of life. Maybe you find yourself in strange situations in those areas of life, depending on what house the GC falls in. Perhaps that is, that by house, that area of life is maybe one of the weirdest. Or you have the weirdest relationship with it. Depending on what's going on in your chart, you may or may not notice this as much. Or, you know, obviously what house is falling in. But I do feel like there could be like a little antenna picking things up. But yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to give y'all a little bit more of an idea of why I find this so interesting. And I mean, there are a lot of reasons. I mean, it's also interesting to me for personal reasons, with my own chart, but I do feel like the actual galactic center in space does it is something like a well, I think it's a bridge kind of in general to, you know, what's known, what's unknown. I've mentioned this before in some of my blog posts and in other videos. But I also feel like it could be almost like a bridge between science and spirituality too. Or this might be, the galactic center might be a way to bring those two worlds together again. And I think that's how it was initially intended to be. And then along the way, because humans are so great at perverting and fucking things up, because we are, something went amiss and got lost. But I feel like the GC might be a way to do that. And I also feel like in the natal chart, where the GC falls might be a place by house, you know, it might be a way for the person to merge spirituality and science as well. How that plays in, of course, would depend on your whole chart, but I could see that being the case. Some people might be better able to do this than others. But yeah, I feel like that might play into somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to get going. But I want to start, well, actually first, I want to start talking about some weird shit. I'll be honest. I want to start talking about some weird shit. It will have to do with the Galactic Center, but I want to talk about some weird shit. I do want to start talking about some weird shit, along with some other shit that's not so weird, but I do want to talk about some weird shit. So you might see some videos get a little stranger. They, you know, not across the board, but there might be some that are a little different. They'll have to do with the Galactic Center, and they'll tie into natal charts too, obviously. But they just might incorporate things like aliens or whatever. Yeah. So keep an open mind with some of them. That's the way we learn new things, even if it's just tossing shit around. I'm gonna get going. If you want to follow us on Instagram, you can find us at Let's Fuck With Astrology. I am at Saturn Season Astrology on Instagram. Natalie is at Apaterno Astrology on Instagram. If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, you can search for us under Let's Fuck With Astrology. Subscribe, like the videos, whatever people do on YouTube. Comment. Love to hear your thoughts. If you do the Reddit thing, come join us over on the subreddit Let's Fuck With Astrology. And if you are interested in the star cards, go to letsfuckwithastrology.com/star-cards. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all later.